What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about a very important topic, how to do chores without hating your life. I hate cleaning in every sense of the term, unless I have something really important to do. If I have something like really important to do, like an essay due the next day, then the only thing that would make me happy is like a deep cleaning the underneath of my sink. But like 99% of the time, it's a no from me. That being said though, everybody does need to know how to clean, and so I thought it would be really important to learn how to do it without it being absolutely terrible. So I figured out 4 different ways that I've made cleaning way less awful for myself, and I'm going to share them with you right now. The first way is to utilize your music correctly. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Jessica, I listen to music when I clean anyways, isn't that enough? But it's not. Now, the general rule of thumb should be looked at the same way that, like, if you're about to go work out as if you're about to clean. Listen to something that's gonna pump you up. Listen to something that's gonna get your blood rushing. It's gonna get you really excited. Now, the reason why I'm saying you should be listening to some pump-up music is because of something that my intro psych professor said last year. He gave us some advice that about right before you go into your exam, you should be listening to something that really gets your blood flowing, really gets you pumped up, so that you're ready to go and do your exam and you're walking into it with a bunch of confidence and a bunch of energy. Now, he recommended that you listen to movie soundtracks. So while I was procrastinating studying for that exam, I binged the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. I don't know why it was that franchise, but I did. And so right before I went into all 5 of my exams that semester, I was listening to bum bum ba-da-dum bum ba-da-dum bum ba-da-dum bum ba-da-dum ba-da-dum. Now, the reason behind that is because you want to have that energy, you want to be excited about what you're about to do, and that same reasoning applies to when you're doing chores. Listening to a banging soundtrack, however, is not the only thing you should be doing while you're cleaning. You should also be alternating your music. Now, that could be through artists or genres or decades, and a really easy way to do this is to compile like a cleaning playlist and then to just put it on shuffle for the whole time that you're cleaning. By compiling a playlist beforehand, you're both eliminating the possibility of a song coming on that you don't actually like, and also preventing yourself from having to actually touch the music while you're cleaning, which saves you from spending 3 hours picking a new song, which is something that I would do. I use Spotify, and they compile a bunch of playlists for you already. That can be really great if you don't want to sit down and pick every single song, or if you're just cleaning randomly and you already have a prepared playlist, but I do warn you that sometimes they can be a little bit all over the place. Like, I was listening to one of my personal mixes before, and it went from Hamilton to Beyonce's Homecoming album to Panic at the Disco, and it was a lot of emotions in 5 minutes. So be wary of that. Now, if you're vehemently anti-playlist and you know that you can make decisions quicker than I can, then you can also just alternate artists or genres or decades, whatever, throughout tasks. So let's say you're listening to, Billie Eilish specifically while you're vacuuming. Once you finish vacuuming, you can go onto your phone and you can pick another artist. So let's say you have to wash your dishes now, so now you're going to listen to Ariana Grande. Now, the reason why you're alternating through all your music like this is because if you're listening to like the same thing over and over and over again, even if it's just like the same album on repeat or whatever, your brain just kind of gets used to it, and it gets to a point where it's just tuning it out. Like, think about it. Have you never listened to an album for a really long time and you get to a point where you're not even hearing the lyrics anymore, or you completely zone out because you're doing another task, and then you look back and it's been 20 minutes and the songs have just been playing but you haven't even heard them? That's not something you want when you're cleaning, because you're not going to be interested enough in your task to zone out. And so if you're alternating your music, it's going to make things a lot more interesting, and hopefully that's going to make up for how dull and probably awful cleaning is. I really don't like cleaning. Now, the second way I found that has made cleaning a lot more productive specifically is by using David Allen's 2-minute rule. Now, the mentality behind the 2-minute rule is that you look at all the things you have to do, and if any of those things can be completed in under 2 minutes, you do them now. You don't wait, you don't put them off, you don't add them to a list that you can do later, you just do all the things that take under 2 minutes immediately. Doing this builds a lot of motivation and really gets you to want to continue cleaning, because even though these tasks are really small and they don't mean a lot in the grand scheme of maybe the 2 hours that you might have to spend cleaning, because you've actually accomplished a task, you're like, yes, another thing I don't have to do anymore. And that kind of motivation is what's going to spur you to continue cleaning. Also, I highly recommend instituting the David Allen rule at the beginning of every time you know you have to clean a lot of things. So let's say you have a list of 5 different things you have to clean that day, and one of them is to fix your bed. Start with fixing your bed, because it's probably only going to take under 2 minutes, and by doing that you're going to get the ball rolling immediately. Less than 2 minutes later, boom, one thing checked off your list, and that's going to make the list shorter and far less intimidating to continue on doing. And also, this rule is really applicable to daily life, and so if you start using it while you're doing specific tasks like cleaning, you're probably a lot more likely to institute it in other aspects of your life, which can make everything just generally more productive. Every morning, the first thing I do just automatically is fix my bed, because I know that it's going to take less than 2 minutes and my room is going to look substantially better once I do it. And I'm just so trained now that the first thing I do every morning is to fix my bed that I don't even need to think about the David Allen rule anymore, even though it was that rule that got me to start actually fixing my bed every morning. At the end of the day, it's only 2 minutes. It's really not going to take that long. And when you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, it's only 2 minutes, I guess I can do that. Well, it's only 2 minutes, I guess I can do that. Well, suddenly you've completed 4, 5, 6 tasks, and it hasn't taken you very long at all, and you haven't procrastinated them. Now, the third thing that you should do is one that I personally find to be probably the most effective on this list because it's the most irritating, and that would be to do what you hate first. Every time I know that I have a pretty lengthy to-do list and I'm going to spend a couple hours cleaning, I write down everything I have to do on a piece of paper, and then I rank them from things I want to do the least to things I don't want to do the least. Normally it doesn't go from awful to fantastic, normally it goes from awful to less awful, but the ranking system still applies. For example, this past weekend I had 4 tasks I had to complete. I had to tidy the downstairs kitchen, I had to vacuum, I had to do my laundry, and I had to clean up the downstairs bedroom. I wrote them all down on a piece of paper, and then I ranked them from worst to least worst. And personally, that turned out to be vacuum, tidy the downstairs bedroom, tidy the downstairs kitchen, and then laundry. The reason why I'm telling you to order them in this way is because when you're doing the task that you find to be the worst, all you're going to be thinking about is how much you would rather be doing any of the other tasks that you decide are a little bit better. And so you're going to be more inclined to complete the first task so that you can get to a better task. By doing that, you're going to complete all of your tasks much quicker because you're just thinking of the better thing to do. By the time you get to the final task, you're thinking about how fantastic it would be to not be cleaning anymore, and that's going to make you speed up. This list making option is a technique that I adapted from conversations that I've had with my friends who have depression, because when they're in the middle of a depressive episode and they literally don't want to do anything whatsoever, by creating this list and finding just enough motivation to do the thing they find to be the worst, it really increases their odds of actually completing more of the tasks. Whereas normally if they were to just do any task randomly that they had on their list, or if they were to do, okay, well, I like this one the most, I'll do that one, they're a lot less likely to actually complete all the tasks that they have, much less any of the tasks that they have, because they really have to pull themselves out to do them. That first task is going to be a lot easier to complete because you haven't been cleaning for, multiple hours. It's the only thing you've done, so you still have energy and you still have some motivation to actually complete chores. Whereas if you left the worst one to the end, you're a lot less likely to actually do it because by that point you're exhausted, so you're probably not even going to do your final task. Alright, so the final thing that you can do to make chores a lot easier is to segment your large tasks into small ones. If you missed my last video, link in the description, I am a huge fan of segmenting large tasks because I think that when you break them down, they increase motivation because every time you complete a small thing, you're proud of yourself and you want to do more. They make large tasks far less intimidating because it's not one massive wall that you have to run into, it's just a bunch of little things you have to complete. And I think that they make people a lot more productive and a lot less likely to take 7-hour breaks whenever they feel like it, because now if they have small little tasks, they can complete that, have a break, complete that, have a break, and are much more likely to complete everything in a timely manner. The same mentality applies to when you're cleaning. I was watching this TikTok where this girl created all these really small arbitrary groups of things to do. So pick up all the blue and green things on your floor, or pick up 10 random things. They can be anything, just pick up 10 of them. And it was her way of being able to actually clean her room a lot quicker. This is a perfect example of what I mean by segmenting these really large tasks into really small ones. If you're looking at a room and it's been like, 2-3 weeks since you've picked up a piece of clothing off the floor and your room's an absolute war zone, you're not gonna want to clean any of it because it just looks so overwhelming and there's so much to do. But when you just have to pick up like blue and green things, well, that's really easy. And then 10 random things, okay, now I just have to pick up, the pink and the purple things, that's fine. And by creating all these little tasks, nothing seems overwhelming and you'll actually get stuff done. I highly recommend that you check out this TikTok. I've linked it in the description. I know that there were a lot of points where my room was an absolute disaster in high school, and it would have been way easier if there was just like a sound on TikTok that was guiding me through cleaning it up versus me having to create my own arbitrary categories. And with that, we've made it to the end of another YouTube video. If you like this video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. My name is Jessica, and I'll see you next week.